right back on the campus of the Gilman School where we were Friday. Thanks for joining us here on Cuda.com. I'm Booker Corrigan, joined as always by my man Ty Zanders. Great matchup today as Calvert Hall comes over to play the Gilman Greyhounds. Ty, tell us about this game, big picture.
Well, these teams are used to playing each other in big games. They matched up in the championship in 2011, 2009. Also, somewhat of a rivalry, so these teams' bodies will be flying. Nice back and forth action.
And for Calvert Hall, you can expect to see Jordan Germershausen, number 10, doing a lot of the quarterback work. And then, of course, the Kelly trio, Timmy Kelly, Johnny Kelly, and Stephen Bones Kelly, who we like to call the Egg McMuffin of face-off guys. Defensively, Eric Evans does a great job. And, of course, Garrett Epple. In the cage today, freshman Joe McSorley. Big task for him, but let's talk about the Gilman Greyhounds.
For Gilman, it's a seasoned group in attack. Max Green's their skilled shooter, headed off to Harvard next year. Also have those carriers in Tyler Rule and Zeke Morrill. Two excellent midfield lines, and on defense is two young long poles in Brendan Barger and Chase Campbell. Also have to give credit to Thomas McBride, had an excellent showing against Boys Latin.
We will be back with the first quarter brought to you by the Baltimore Crabs, locally grown, nationally known. As we see the goaltender shake a quick hand, Joe McSorley and Thomas McBride, two guys who know how to get the work done. And we are set for the first quarter here on campus at Gilman. Stephen Bones Kelly and Ned Emela taking the face-off. And Emela does a good bit of battling, checks it out of the cross of Kelly. And possession gained. Jack Halpert, and he's got a lane to the cage all of a sudden, shot wide. And now we have a crease violation. 15 seconds into the game. We got live action here at Gilman. Beautiful day for lacrosse. Thanks for joining us here on Cuda.com. Calvert Hall in their road reds. Gilman in their home whites. Beautiful grass field. One of the last grass fields standing. Johnny Bell's across the top. Here is Stephen Kelly. Up top to Johnny Kelly. Kelly splits for his left shot. Goal! Johnny Kelly, 1-0. 11:07. Early goal for the visiting Cardinals.
Calvert Hall needs a big performance here to keep their confidence at bay. They're really thrown out to the wolves in this short stretch, playing McDonough, who they lost to on Saturday, facing off against Gilman today, and then no rest. Get number 1 BL on Friday afternoon. But these seniors will have to lead this group as they struggle this weekend.
Kelly rakes that one back, scoops it up from his knees, and now gets it up the deal. Deal quickly to Germershausen. Germershausen marked by Chase Campbell. You had the goal? Germershausen now inverted all the way up top, gets it over to David Fritz. And Fritz shares it with Deal. Deal's got a little lane here. Nice slide defensively by Brendan Barger. Ty, you talked about him in the open. He's a stabilizing force for this Gilman defense.
Yeah, I think it's a good sign for the Gilman defense these next 2 years to have that sort of 1-2 defensive punch with him and Chase Campbell.
Timmy Kelly gets it to Fritz. Fritz pass intended to hit the crease, goes wide, and Gilman will clear. 9:57 remaining first quarter, brought to you by the Baltimore Crabs. Make sure you investigate their top prospect camp for rising 8th and 9th graders. A great teaching camp run by a great club organization. Riley DeSmit and Calvert Hall 1 step off sides, but that's all it takes, and the flag is down. Up top to Brown. as Calvert Hall now there's 7 defenders out on the field. One of the rule changes this year, Ty, is you don't have to keep it in the box with a flag down. How do you feel about that rule?
I like it. I think it's they made a few small changes, and that's one of them.
Shot by Green, gets the pass from Andy Matthews. Matthews just a sophomore, but now we'll get a look at the Gilman extra man unit. This man up brought to you by RipNet. Log on to rip.net. It's a free goal scoring social media platform. Improve your ability to score goals. And Calvert Hall, a little hitch in the system right now as I see Garrett Eppel check out. He looks like he has an equipment issue, no injury, but I'm quite certain that he's a stabilizing force on that man down unit.
He's that enforcer you probably need in the game almost all 48 minutes. Just makes that large of an impact.
Matthews top right side. Pass to the turf, scooped by Chase Whittick. Shot backed up by Chris Walsh. And now it's back with Matthews. Max Green lets one rip. McSorley equal to that. And here's Whittick. Trail check. Great trail check by Tyler Mays.
Mays, really the premier LSM in this league, makes such a large impact between the lines with those trail checks as well on EMO. That's a big defensive play for Calvert Hall with Garrett Eppel out.
Germershausen tries to connect with Timmy Kelly on the cut. Great cut by Kelly, but pass just a little too hot. Sims comes all the way across to get it. And senior John Sims has the clear for the Greyhounds. 1-0 your score, 7:45 remaining first quarter. Here's Peter Brown. Brown across to Will McBride. Will McBride intended for Andrew Gemma. And now it's back with McBride. McBride double teamed, maintains possession, and gets it behind the cage to Zeke Morrill. Morrill again behind, nice skip pass, nifty little face dodge on the inside by Will McBride, and at the 7:07 mark, Booker Corrigan back on the board, winning the race to Nifty. That's got to sting a little bit, Ty.
It does. I had that sweep this weekend. You know, I think first off, I'm a little surprised race to Nifty didn't occur until, you know, about midway through the first quarter. Usually we're itching to get it off the chest. But
I was ladling it out there for you, but didn't take the bait, and that's going to go down as a loss. And I did tweet this weekend that you did sweep the race to Nifty.
I like that. You know, giving credit where credit is due.
Great skip pass up top. Again, Zeke Morrill doing a lot of quarterbacking, and we will have a timeout on the field. 6:27 remaining first quarter. First quarter brought to you by the Baltimore Crabs Lacrosse Club. Locally grown, nationally known. Tremendous club organization, the Baltimore Crabs. We also want to remind you that our film crew is sponsored by Skeeter Snacks. Totally nut-free, totally delicious. Make sure you get your hands on some Skeeter Snacks that are available at Food Lions and ShopRites all up and down the East Coast. Zeke Morrill starts with it coming out of the timeout. Matthews, and now it's Whittick. Whittick defended by Johnny Kelly. Nice move by Whittick. Call that a pass. Top ref goes with a pass on that one.
Gilman not happy with the call there, thinking that was a shot. I tend to agree with him, but I'm not going to hate on the referees. Who do we have out there reffing today, Book?
Referees for today's game, Gordon Sumner, Reginald Dwight, and Paul Hewson. And the first person to tweet me at ESPN Booker with who those people are. What are their more popular names? I got a box of Skeeter snacks for you. Again, referees for today's game, Gordon Sumner, Reginald Dwight, and Paul Hewson. Tweet me at ESPN Booker. Timmy Kelly, great catch, great goal. No, outside of the goal. First time ever I've fallen for that.
Always love that false sense of excitement usually we get from the parents, but Booker is your first lacrosse game in a long time, you know.
I thought it was a great backside look by Timmy Kelly.
It still was.
Yep. And Fanshaw getting the start on attack for Calvert Hall. Andrew Fanshaw, the junior. Fanshaw, Timmy Kelly, and Jordan Germershausen, the starting attack. And here's our first good look at Tyler Rule. 4:44 to go, first quarter, 1-0 Gilman. You're watching CUDA.com, once again bringing you great high school action.
And these are also the matchups that I sort of anticipated to see out there today, with Tyler Rule being guarded by Eric Evans. You know, more of an athlete, while Eppel, certainly an excellent football player in his own right. He'll take on Max Green, put a physical guy on him, sort of like they had, you know, BL cover Tom Brown to stay in his hands and disrupt him.
Couple nice saves by McSorley as he shrugs off the second, held his ground nicely on the first shot by McBride. Bones Kelly comes up with the loose change. And Calvert Hall with a transition opportunity. Here's Timmy Kelly, shot, goal! And maybe that's why Andrew Fanshaw got the start today. Tied up at 1, 4:02 to go first quarter. Exactly what I said, 2-0 Calvert Hall here early with 4:02 remaining. A mistake like that, I think we should have had the crew from YouTube come out and film that. I don't make a lot of those score mistakes. First quarter brought to you by the Baltimore Crabs Lacrosse Club. Locally grown, nationally known. Check out their top prospect camp. Promotional consideration brought to you by BD Diagnostics. For all your personal health needs, make sure you check out BD Diagnostics. Inside 4 minutes to go here, first quarter. Face-off win for the Greyhounds as Davey Previous pulls it out. Tyler Rule, shot, goal. And the timeout somewhat effective.
Yes, seems like Coach Matthews had plenty to say in that huddle. Nice face-off work there by Davey Previous. It started with that face-off win, and ultimately Rule finishes the job.
And they go right back to Previous. Bones with the quick win, pushed from behind. I think we're gonna get a play on. And now we get, and there's a flag on the far side. With the quick restarts, you can blow the whistle when a man is within 5 yards of the ball carrier, but he is not allowed to engage the ball carrier. They're gonna meet and talk about it. Again, Gordon Sumner, Reginald Dwight, and Paul Hewson, your officials for today's game. Tweet me at ESPN Booker if you can tell me who those refs are. No penalty on the play, as I think they felt like it was too quick of a restart. Calvert Hall offense running a lot cleaner than we saw them on Friday and Saturday.
I think mostly they struggled with those fundamentals and just throwing and catching, simple stuff I'm sure they worked on in a few days of practice.
Here's Germershausen, shoots high. Ball bounced off the wall. And Fanshaw is going to start the offense. Fanshaw defended by Garrett Pfeiffer. Tremendous athlete, Garrett Pfeiffer. And just as we talk about their passing and catching, a ball goes off the top of the stick. And now we see a hot, sloppy mess right here at the substitution box. Hold against the Cardinals. And Sims. Mays tries for the trail check, as you see on the scoreboard. 2:34 remaining first quarter. Calvert Hall up 2-1 here at Gilman.
Sort of must-win situations for both these teams. I think this day really clears up the picture in the MIAA with McDonough playing St. Mary's, and of course this game. Sort of tough to say who's that number 2 team in the league. We know BL's number 1, but numbers 2 to 6, if you want to include all the teams that make playoffs. Unsure of that order at this point in the season, about halfway through the MIAA slate.
Jack Hutchins has the pass knocked down, and here's Mays in the open field. Germershausen gets it up top, and now we see John Henneberry, normally a short stick D midi, double teamed and comfortably gets it to David Fritz. Fritz, Johnny Bells, and Johnny Kelly, the midfielders. Here's Bells. Flip to Timmy Kelly. Saved by McBride. And we talked about him in the open tie. He caught fire on Friday.
I think without McBride, Gilman would be in a one-sided battle with BL, just because he made a ton of athletic saves that, that was the difference maker for that team. That's why they were in there. And Christian Knight for BL, also looked outstanding.
Max Green gets it up to Tyler Rule. And we have 45 seconds left in the first quarter, brought to you by the Baltimore Crabs Lacrosse Club. Nice roll by Tyler, too cool Rule. And just like the day after a bad chili cook-off, we are knotted at deuces. 39 seconds left, first quarter. Crafty little dodge by Tyler Rule there. How many times have we seen him do that?
Plenty of them. He is one of the craftier attackmen around. Loves those on-crease fakes. Certainly a good feeder in his own right. Rides hard. Really love the kind of recruit that Notre Dame's getting in Tyler Rule, a junior.
Bones goes after. He raked it to himself, but Davey Previs gets it over to Wankowitz. And now Tyler Rule has it on the wing. Rule guarded by Eric Evans. 15 seconds now in the first quarter. And here's DeSmit. Max Green, low angle shot, but this late in the quarter, and we're going to get a moving pick call or a push, however you want to phrase it. First quarter brought to you by the Baltimore Crabs Lacrosse Club. Proud to have them back. Oh, what a shot by! Didn't think he had the time to do it, and he did it. Riley DeSmit, the veteran team captain as a senior. And DeSmit, another thing I know, how important are bounce shots today, Ty?
Well, ask Matt Ward. He said a few weeks ago he doesn't like the bounce shots, doesn't think it's an effective shot, but Riley DeSmit proving him wrong. And on grass especially, that's something you want to use a little bit more on turf and grass. Takes that funky bounce.
As Calvert Hall sends number 9, Braden Atkinson out for the face-off with 2 seconds left. Gilman scores the last 3 goals of the quarter, 3-2 Greyhounds. We will be right back with the second quarter. CUDA.com bringing you amazing MIAA lacrosse. You've got to make sure you stay tuned for the PNC Play of the Week announcement. At the end of the second quarter, we will inform you how you can get on Camden Yards to throw out the first pitch for a big game. Stay tuned for that.